I kid you not, the moment you start developing your clairs is the literal moment that you start to get the most confused. So I'm going to give you 4 ways to help you develop your clairs with clarity. Because one of the things that usually happens the moment that you decide, I'm going to open my gifts, I'm going to work on my clairvoyance, I'm going to take a peek into my claircognizance and see what the universe has for me, you start to receive so much energy that you can't decipher between what you need to know, what you don't need to know, what's for you, what's for somebody else, and where you're supposed to go in terms of your path and your purpose. So pay close attention and be sure to make it all the way to the end, because number 4, I'm giving you 4. Number 4 is one of my favorites and will likely give you a chuckle. So let's start with number 1. With your Claire gifts, the first thing you want to do is to make sure that you are healing your generational trauma. And I know that doesn't sound like something that you want to start with, but it is something that's going to be extremely important and will literally make or break how strong your clairs are and how gifted you become, and how much of an impact you can make on the community around you. Because most of the time, if you are here trying to develop your clair gifts and understand them, it's likely because you also want to use them to help other people, not just to help yourself, or you're on some sort of path of reclamation for your family line. And a part of that is doing your healing. But something to think about is, if you want to be able to receive new energy and you want to be able to receive your gifts, how are you going to be able to do that if you can't receive feedback from people, if you can't even receive your own authenticity, if you are constantly self-doubting yourself, if you don't have confidence, if you don't have self-worth, or you constantly have a busy mind, or you're in a state of like deep depression? It's going to be really hard for you to be unbiased about the information that you are receiving and be able to successfully implement it into your life or teach it to anybody else. Or if your ancestors or spirit are trying to guide you on your path, you're going to be questioning it every single step of the way versus being able to shift into an energy where you can comfortably move forward. So doing your generational healing is not only going to clear out that energy, but it's also going to let you release any fears that you have around the unknown, right? Because following your clairs, you literally are jumping into the unknown. You have to be in a state of forgetting everything that you thought you knew so you can begin down the path of the impossible, which is possible. It's just a path of reclamation. So that includes like healing your mindset again, right? And what you think about your Claire gifts. If you have any sort of religious trauma, because a lot of the times when you start to deliver your gifts, sometimes people realize if they were raised in a very religious home, it can feel counterintuitive to what you were taught. And so you have to go on a healing journey for yourself to be able to receive the information and make whatever decisions are best for you, best for your path, best for your family line. And so that's where the healing comes in. And even healing things like your scarcity mindset, removing beliefs around colonization, that you're not worthy of your gifts, or you have to hide your gifts because they are wrong, or your thoughts around being a witch or the word witch, right? All of these things that are low vibrational that have come from people and beliefs historically, that were not for everybody's highest good. They all came from an ego based way of thinking. So you want to make sure that you are doing your healing before you even like fully dive into your clairs. Obviously, most of us have clairs that show up and we know that they're there. We're developing them, but we're not quite sure how deep they actually go. And maybe you're curious about how to expand on them, strengthen them, make them more clear, make your visions more clear, have prophetic dreams, like all that sort of stuff. You have to be able to clear out anything that is is attached to your ego, is attached to your physical self. So doing your generational healing is going to help a lot. And it also allows you a new channel to be able to communicate with your ancestors more easily, because you are your ancestors are them. So if you are healing what they also would like to heal, it strengthens your bond and strengthens your communication. So that is number 1. And then with number 2, the most important thing to do, which you could do in tandem, with your healing, is to strengthen your spirituality and whatever that means to you, right? But when I think of spirituality, I think of things that are really going to balance your energy, things that are really going to keep you grounded, things that are going to keep you in a state of oneness with the universe, with source, with God, with spirit, whatever your verbiage is. So that is your meditation, that is your chants, that is, your candle workings, that is putting your hands and feet into the earth, rolling in the earth, standing in the rain, connecting with elements, connecting with animals. So ways that you can keep your energy as balanced as possible. At the end of the day, if you can choose anything, I would choose meditation first. Even if you're not someone who meditates very easily, think of meditation as where you feel the most calm, right? I work with a lot of people who are neurodivergent. I am also neurodivergent myself. So all of their meditation practices look different. Some people use Legos. Some people are literally washing dishes. Some people are painting. Some people are playing music. Like it's very, very different. But they're able to achieve a state of meditation and serenity when they are doing those things for themselves. So try and reflect on where you feel the most grounded, where you feel that your energy can freely flow. And sometimes you might even call it like you get into your dreamy state, or you get into a you energetically check out and you start manifesting and having visualizations. Like that is a state of meditation that you really want to be in. And one of the things that you want to strive towards is actually getting to a place where your thoughts are not intertwining with your visions and your state of meditation. So your thoughts are not going to be your visualizations most of the time. Your thoughts are going to be things that are popping up for you, like your to-do list, or you're hungry, like all these random things. You're striving to be able to be in meditation and have quiet. If you are really good at mastering your meditation, then you would get to a stage of no thoughts, right? Like that's a very powerful stage to be in. And if it's no thoughts, then it's visions, or it's visions and no thoughts, right? Like you can kind of ping pong between them, but it's having enough discipline to be able to be in a state of oneness with who you are, who what your energy is, and the energy of the universe, right? So this is also really important so that you can safely maintain a sustainable distance from your ego, right? Like it's not necessarily you remove yourself from yourself, because that is detachment. And there's a thin line between healthy detachment and not so great detachment and spiritual bypassing. So you want to be able to sit back in your observer and notice when things are coming from an ego based way of thinking and when things are coming from an aligned, intuitive way of moving. So that is where you want to be able to be with your meditations, so that when you are receiving information about your clairs, it's easier for you to decipher the information without being like, oh my gosh, like what does that mean? Blah, blah, blah. Like that's your ego, that's your mind, which is why when you have no thoughts, you can receive the information for what it is, right? And you can make the decision more easily. So that, and also I want to say with meditation, it will also highly strengthen your connection to your ancestors, because your ancestors are also energy. So if you need any sort of motivation around meditating and you want to talk to your ancestors, start meditating, right? Start creating calm and serenity in your physical environment so you can invoke the energy of peace and stillness and openness to receiving something different other than your own ego or the ego of other people. So, and we go into that in one of the workshops I'm going to be teaching really soon around curating your space to be able to do that in a very authentic and aligned way. So let's go on to number three. So, number three is really surrendering to the process of your soul's growth. So, this is when you really drop into your trust, and this is why your healing is so important. Anytime you find that you are developing your clairs and you start to question it, I want you to go back to number one. Immediately go back to number one and start your healing with why you're having trouble trusting what information you are receiving, trusting that you are intuitive, trusting that you are making the right decisions, right? All of that goes back to some sort of trauma that you may have within your body. It goes back to having a low self-worth, right? It goes back to having low self-confidence and believing that you can make the right decisions, which could have come from being in a family that made you question everything, being in relationships where you weren't really good at holding boundaries, or someone consistently crossed your boundaries, or someone gaslit you, right? So, like, developing your clairs goes along with doing your generational healing. Like, there is no way around it. There's no way around it. So, just make sure that, like, anytime you are trying your best to surrender and be within that energy, and you begin to feel the friction, right? Because friction is when something's ready to be revealed. That is when you give yourself the grace and the space and the resources to be able to go back and heal and ask yourself, why am I feeling uncomfortable right now? What is this trigger? Where did it come from? Whose voice am I hearing? When I start to hear these things that say I can't do this, when I start to hear that I might fail, when I start to hear who is saying this to me, right? I want you to be as specific as possible. So this is a part of your clear development, because you got to clear out all the old baggage so you can move forward. And it doesn't mean that once you do your healing work, it's you're never going to have to do healing work again. No, that's unrealistic. Like, after you begin your deep generational healing, it becomes easier because you get into the flow of being on this new healthy pattern of, I'm going to pause, I'm going to give myself grace, I'm going to figure out what's going on right now from my seat of observance, I'm going to heal, I'm going to open my heart, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z to do whatever I need to do so that I can trust and surrender wholeheartedly to the universe, to source, to spirit, to God, to my ancestors, to my guides, to angels, to whatever you believe in, to fairies, like, so that you can really be in that energy of trust. And then you start to see your manifestations come forward wildly. But you have to have that flow and know how to be able to go back, heal, and then keep moving forward. Um, because this is also you signaling to the universe that you are ready to receive support, right? You're ready for newness, you're ready to move on, you're ready to have your new beginning, you're ready to continue down your path. So allow yourself to surrender and try something new this time, because we already know that some of the stuff we were doing before didn't work. So we're not going to keep doing it, we're going to do something different. And you have to remember again that your clairs are energy. So when you surrender to the flow of energy, you can surrender to your clairs and receive them. It's not something that you eat a cake and then you got all your clairs. Like, that's not how it works. Like, it's a flow of energy. So you have to understand how energy works outside of you, works within you, and how it comes in and out, right? So again, we're going back to the basics of Claire's being energy. And last but not least, I want to say, like, number 4, my absolute favorite is to freaking have fun. Like, don't make developing your clairs about, all of this struggle, all of this, like, oh, I'm never going to get through this. I'm like, that is the worst energy that you can be in. And I see people make that mistake all the time. Your clairs are there so you can have fun. They're there so you can make an impact. They're there so you can show yourself love, so you can love on other people. So enjoy them. And I know some people are like, I don't want to know what other people think. And it's like, well, that's why you need to be in meditation, so you can turn that off, right? That's where the fun comes in and where the accountability comes in, because it is also really fun when you sit in spaces and you're just like, wow, like, I'm fully present in this moment because I'm receiving information through every channel in my body, but I get to choose, like, what happens next. Or, someone will say something and it'll make you laugh because it's confirmation from spirit. Or you can hear your ancestors make a joke about, how you stepped on some gum, and they're, like, it's like you get to have more moments of joy with energies around you that you never got to have before. And you can connect with a community that finally understands you, and you can make jokes about it. And sitting in a space and watching stuff fly off a shelf is not going to be like, oh my god, it's going to be like, yeah, you know who did that? Yep. Like, so it's like you get to have these really, really fun moments. So I invite you to just continue to have fun on your journey and know that clairs are gifts. Respect people's gifts, respect your own gifts, but make sure that you are following these steps to really help you, and you will be extremely successful. And as I mentioned, if you are wanting to work on your 2025 goals and busting through your self-sabotage and busting through your self-worth and confidence and like getting to know yourself through and do your healing work and just like freaking take off on your ascension and your spiritual journey, I want you to come join the challenge. It's a 3-day event that looks like 6, but it's 3. It's a 3-day event. It's called Kick the Shit Challenge. It's called Kick the Shit to Happiness. And it's so much fun. I do it like once or twice a year, and we always have so much fun. And you get to receive some gifts while you are there as well, and get to be amongst a community, and it's just really healing. And you are also welcome to join us weekly in our Clair development classes. So right now they're Thursday and Friday. I'm pausing Monday because I've got some travel and work and things to do. So right now they're on Thursday and Friday. Thursday at 2 p.m. Pacific, Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific. Come join us. It's amazing. The community is phenomenal, and you get a little gift at the end to be able to put towards any other classes that you are wanting to attend with the rest of the community or one-on-one with me. So I'm sending you lots of love, lots of hugs. Let me know if this was helpful. Also, right below where you are at with your Clair development and what you are experiencing, be sure to like, subscribe, and follow along. Turn on that notification bell so you know when I'm dropping videos just like this. Go shine your amazing light in the world because it needs you so much. So I will talk to you all soon. Soul fam.